but that isn't. Number 7. Love isn't having sex every second of the day. You know, I've had a lot of people say, oh, you know, I met a lady recently, she was telling me, a lady I should expect to guide me, to be my role model. She told me, you know, Sam, let me tell you, men love sex. So, as a woman, you should give a man sex every minute. I don't deny that, that is true. But let me tell you another side of that. You know, of course, everything has, you know, advantages and disadvantages. There's a friend of mine, every time he leaves work, he stops by my office so that we can hang out with him. One time I asked my brother, hey, why do you always have to come here after work? You should go back to your house and rest, you know, and relax. The guy told me, my brother, my wife is Torotoro. Then I asked him, what do you mean Torotoro? Says, my wife is Torotoro. You know this caterpillar that digs the road? That is my wife. I say, my brother, enlighten me on that. I don't know. What do you mean? He says, when it comes to sex, my wife does not get enough. Then I looked at him and said, my brother, you've been married all these years. And you know all this time, you know very well how to second sex. Now, and she's in your house. So, and you keep coming here to pass time. So that when the nyumbani upate she's asleep. Now, what will you do, my brother? The guy looked at me and said, you know, if I go home, my wife tu ananilazimisha ananisika tu cha lazima, so lazima nifanye lakini nimechoka. Nikienda nipata amelala ama ameenda kazi because she works at night, that would be even better for me, my brother. Lakini you know, I don't understand. That is your wife. You married, she's in your house. She cannot get enough sex. And I believe that you dated for a few months or years before you got married. So you entered into something you already knew what to expect. The guy told me, you know, when I married my wife, I was young, we were very active sexually, was very energetic. Now that the kids are involved, my brother, there's too much going into my mind. I'm thinking, worried about bills, about things, about my family. Now I'm not strong. I cannot elect like I used to. You know, before I was like electricity. You know, like you hit the button on, then electricity comes on. My wife could touch me and then I'm ready to go. I say, come on, baby, let's go. Let's get on it. Now, as I'm aging, I've come to realize that I am not the way I was when I married my wife. And I told her, my brother, have you talked to your wife? Go, sit her down and talk to her. Whereas it's too much. You tell her maybe you want it once a day, twice a day, or once a week, or twice, whichever. Go home. Now, coming to my office is temporary. You need to find a permanent solution. And here he started telling me that, my brother, men love sex. You need to give them sex every day. You see, he comes from work, don't give him food first, give him sex. Men are wired differently. And I always tell people this, what works in my family may not work in your family. What works for other family may not work in your family. So stop adapting what people are doing. And a lot of people talk what they don't mean or they don't do. My brother, sex is fun when you are young, when you have no responsibility. You know, when I was young, let me speak about myself. When I was young, when I was in high school, my problem was girls. Do you know why? I had no responsibility. My mother could pay for everything. I could come home, eat. I was not worried about nothing. Everything was provided for. So the only thing that I was not getting at my disposal was China. So they were very important to me. But they come and ask me now. That was when I was in high school. Because it was my mother's food that was giving me energy and making me believe that kulala na mwanamke ndio kitu ya maana duniani, ndio kitu nilikuwa ninatamani sana. Turn around, ask me now. A lot of people, a lot of men are going through a lot. And men are not like women. You know, a woman, whether you want sex or not, let's be honest. Wewe unaweza rara chini, mwanaume afanye kazi yake amalize without doing anything na uende. But niliuliza huyu mwanaume, if you go back to your house, bibi yako akushikashike hiyo kitu cannot erect. Iko kama spaghetti imepikwa. Sasa atajifanya na nini, my brother? Sienda agusa, lakini akienda kugusa isimame, you erect. That means you also want it. Just do it. You won't die for doing it. After all, you've been doing it all this many years. So going home, ufanye, uendelee kufanya what you've been doing, my brother, it will not kill you. The guy looked at me and said, Sam, as a man, I have self-esteem. As a man, I have ego. It is so embarrassing to go home. My wife touches me, then this thing will not even do anything. It will not even respond to our kisses, to our caressing. It will not do nothing. So as a man, I'll be dying slowly inside. So it's better I come here, I pass my time, go home, and still have my self-esteem and have my ego as a man. Do you know what it will feel like when you go, your wife touches you and no response, and then you don't perform to our expectation? That is so disappointing. It's heartbreaking. It will break me into pieces. So to avoid all of that, let me just come here in past time. I look at the guy here and I told him, my brother, you need to go seek a medical advice. That was me advising the guy. Go seek for medical advice. Maybe something is wrong. But the guy told me, there's nothing wrong with me. It's a lot of responsibility on my shoulders and my age. And there's someone who's telling me that sex every second is love. Suddenly a fool who can be mistaken that having sex every now and then is being in love. Suddenly a fool. What is holding you together is sex, like this guy, what's putting them together is sex. What if you can't have sex as often as you want, as you have been every second? Would that relationship last? No, it won't. Because what was holding you together is sex. Also, let me turn the coin. There's a lady I know. She told me, you know what, I can't stand my husband. I said, why? My husband wants sex every minute. He sees me every time we're home. Oh, sweetheart, come, let's go to the bedroom. Sex, sex, sex. I'm sick and tired of that. There's nothing else. My husband cannot think of anything after sex that we can do together as a couple. Nothing but sex. I'm sick and tired of it. Why did the lady was talking like that? There was another lady who I was with. That lady said, oh, when the lady left, the lady looked at me and said, you know what? I wish I could have such a man. My husband touches me once a month. And I'm even lucky to get it once a month. Imagine I'm dying, I'm desperately in need of sex. And the lady is here complaining that the husband wants sex every day, as he doesn't like it, she can't stand it. I wish I could get that man. And I always say there's no balance in this world. I don't know why God can't balance people. Those who want sex every second should be matched and live together. And those who want it once a day should be matched. Those who want it once a year, they should be matched. So that there will be no problem. But God brings some of these issues, challenges, into our lives to teach us something. Life is a learning process. Life is a learning experience. So what you think works for you may not work for others. So having sex every minute, my brother, my sister, it's not love. It's not love at all. Don't be mistaken because a guy is asking sex from you every minute, every second, every time you pass by, thinking that the guy loves you. There's my cousin I know. She met a guy on Facebook in Mombasa, says in Kisi. So what this guy did, they were chatting for almost 4 months. So the guy said, let me leave Mombasa, come see you, I can't wait to see you. So the guy traveled all the way from Mombasa to Kisi. They spent in a hotel. They spent a night there. They had sex. The guy woke up 5 in the morning, told my cousin, you know what, I love you so much. Oh, it was so nice, I've really enjoyed. But let me run, there's something, an errand I need to run here. So I'll come back, I pay for the room, then we'll go together to Mombasa. My cousin, as naive as she was swept off her feet. She was in love. She said, yes, darling, just go. That was the last time my cousin saw the guy. The guy left, switched his phone off. My cousin was left to cough the bill of the lodging and the food they ate the night before, and the breakfast he took in the morning. Now the phone was off, she paid. Now you tell me if this guy traveled all the way from Mombasa to come and have sex with this lady in Kisi, and see the guy disappeared. And my cousin was deceived. My cousin believed this guy was truly in love. So what I'm trying to say, sex is not a sign of love. Do you know people who are married? You know people who are in serious relationships and they go sleep with prostitutes. Do you think they love those prostitutes? No, they don't. Because if they did, they would keep them in their houses. And if sex could be love, then all prostitutes could be married. Because they're commercial sex workers. They know the best ways, that's their work. So they try every time to be better and good at what they do. So when it comes to sex, they're experts. And yet, year in, year out, they are where they were. They are prostitutes and not married. So sex is not a sign of love. You can have sex as much as you want, but it's not a sign of love. There are so many things that comes together to make love work. Like I always say, actions speak louder than words. Love isn't having sex every second of your life, every day. In this case, what is holding you two together is basically sex. What if you guys can't have sex anymore, or even more frequent? So you will not be in love with that person again. Such kind of thinking is for teenagers who has no responsibility. All they think about is sex as a way of showing love to someone. Sex can never and will never be a sign of love whatsoever.